So today we are going to talk about the iteration functions. Now, what are these iteration functions? So if you know the functions like SUMX, MAXX, MINX, RankX, CountX, AVERAGEX, these are all iteration functions. Now, we will see one by one how to create and use these functions in a simple way. So we have got a very simple and basic data set and which has got just two columns. First column is product and the second column is revenue. So we can see there are three different products and the revenue for every single product is given. Now let's say we have got this kind of a data set, very basic data set, nothing nothing complicated. Okay, now let's say we want to start with the SUMX function. Okay, how do we use the SUMX function? Now, so first of all, let us try to understand what exactly will happen when we use the SUMX function. Now, there are three different products in the product column, product A, B, and C. When we use the SUMX function, what will that function do? We will be, first of all, product A. So for A, it will go through all the rows in the table and sum it up. Okay. Then similarly for product B, it will do the same thing. It will find all the revenue, for all the product B, it will find the revenues and sum it up. Same thing it will do for the product C, and the value for A, B, and C will be provided. If you have understood, great. If not, we'll see that quickly. Very easy. So first of all, we'll create this table. Now within this table, let me add the products. Okay. Now the next thing that we have to do is we have to create the measure. How do we create a new measure? Go to modeling, click on the new measure. Let's say that this measure is SUMX. Okay, and let us use the SUMX function itself. So I'll use the SUMX function. What is the name of the table? The table is sales, as we know that this is the sales table, comma expression. So SUMX function already knows how to do the sum, right? All we have to tell SUMX function is that please add the revenues column. So I will provide the revenue column and close the bracket, click enter. Now we will see how it reflects in the table when we add this measure. So I'll click on add data and add this particular measure. Now if you have a look at this, the summing the SUMX function is reflecting 730 for A, 540 for B, and 570 for C. For A all the values are added, for B all the values are added, and for C also all the values are added, and then we have got the total count here. Okay. Now the next function that we are going to talk about is the MAXX function. Now let us first understand what exactly this MAXX function will do. If you have a look at this table, it has got multiple values for product A, product B, and product C. So when we use MAXX function, what will happen is Power BI will identify the three distinct or unique products, that is product A, product B, and product C. Let's say if we talk about product A, it will identify all the values for product A. Okay, and out of all the values for product A, Power BI will see which is the maximum value, and that will be reflected against the product A. Similarly for B and similarly for C. If you understood this, if you understood if you understood this, great. If not, I will explain. It's very easy. So again, we'll create the new function that is called as a MAXX function. So go to the modeling tab and click on the new measure. Let's name this as the MAXX function. Okay, it's very easy, so I'll just use the MAXX function. The table here is the sales table. The next thing we need is expression. Now maximum value we want to find out. Now maximum value we want to find out, but from which column? So that's a revenue column, right? So I'll just select the revenue column in here and close the bracket, click enter. Now we will try to have this particular measure in the visual. So I'll just select this MAXX, and then what we see is that product A, the maximum value is 250, for product B it's 210, and product C is 300. So let's just cross check once. Product A 250 is the maximum value, so let's validate. Product A 100, 200, 250. Yeah, so that's correct. 250 is the maximum value. Similarly for C it should be 300. So let's see, for C 120, 300. So that's correct. So we are getting the correct values. So just like we use this MAXX function, you guys can use the MINX function. So obviously, as you know, it is obvious that MINX function will give you the minimum value instead of the maximum. Rest remains same. So you can practice that. So there is one more function which is called as AVERAGEX, but I do not want to waste our time explaining that, because it is very understood that like just like we use the SUMX function, same thing will happen, but the values would be average. So average of A, average of B, and average of C would be reflected in the respective product. So I will not explain you MINX and the AVERAGEX. You guys can practice these two. I'll be sharing the data set, so you please practice that. The next function that I want to talk about is a RankX function. Now, so what do you think will happen in the case of RankX function? So again, the same thing would happen. The function would identify that those three unique products, that is product A, B, and C. Then we'll find the sum of all the three products, so which already we have done using this SUMX measure. And after we find out the SUMX, then what we will do is based on the value, highest the value, greater the number. Let's say 731, 570 rank 2, and 540 rank 3, like this, or vice versa. We can do it in ascending or descending order. So if you have understood, great. If you are not, we will again have a look at this RankX function. It's very easy. So what we'll do the same thing. Go to the modeling tab, then click on this new measure option. Let us say that this function is a RankX function. Now again, I'll use the RankX function. The first argument is table. Now whenever you use RankX function, it's important that if there are any existing filters, those should be removed. And I have already explained you, if there are any existing filters and you want to remove them and have a look at the entire table, then which function you use. I hope you remember. If you don't know, I'll tell you. The function is called as all function. So I'll use the all function so that all existing filters get removed. Okay, so within all function, we need to select here the product column, because for we would be assigning the ranks to the products. Okay, that's why I've selected product column. The next thing that I want to do is I'll just close this bracket and put comma. Now the next thing that I want is expression. Okay, now on basis of which thing we want to provide the ranking to these products. So as I said, based on the SUMX, we want to provide the ranking, rank 1, 2, or 3. So what I will do, I'll just take this SUMX that we had already created. So I'm using the SUMX here. The next thing that I want is value. So we can keep this blank and directly focus on the ascending or descending. So what is ascending and what is descender, I had already explained, but let's see what happens. So I'll just close this bracket, click enter. Now let's add this particular measure in the visual. So now as we can see that 540, so 540 is at rank 1, 570 has got rank 2, 730 has got 3, and 730 has got rank 3. Why is that? Because within the rank X function, we have selected ascending order. Let's say if we select the descending order, and then if we see the ranking, then you can see that 730 has got rank 1, 570 has got rank 2, and 540 has got rank 3. So that's how we use, or that's how we create, so that's how we use the RankX function to provide the appropriate ranking. Okay, the last thing, the last function that we want to create today is CountX function. So let's talk about the CountX function. So first of all, let us understand what exactly will happen when we use the CountX function. Let's say from the given table, again, when we use the CountX function, the same thing would happen, that there would be three unique products, that is product A, product B, and product C. But let's say I have given further additional condition that I want to find the number of rows that has got the revenue greater than 150 for every single product. Now how do we do that? So now what I will do, again we'll have to do the same thing. Let us go to the modeling ribbon and click on the new measure, and then this time around the function would be CountX function. So now I will use the CountX function. So let us use the CountX function. Now the first argument is table. So if you recollect in the previous example, that is RankX function, we had removed the existing filters. How did we remove? Using the all function. In this case, we want to create the additional filter. Which filter I'm talking about? Some time ago I said that we want to find out the rows where the revenue is greater than 150. So I want to add that filter. How do I add that filter? It's very easy. We will be using a function which is called as filter. So what I will do, I'll just use the filter function. Within filter function, the name of the table is sales, comma, again filter expression. What do you think would be the expression? Expression would be very straightforward. Revenue, sales revenue is greater than 150. So I will put a comma here, and the next thing that I need is 1. When I say 1 in the expression, that just means that we are telling the Power BI to count the rows, and that's it. I will close the parenthesis, click enter. Now let us see how what happens when we include this particular measure in the visual. So we will have the CountX function, and if you see now, so the CountX function is telling me that product A has got 3 rows where the revenue is greater than 150. So let's see, product A 200, 250 and 180. So that is absolutely correct. Product A has got 3 rows where the count is greater than 150. Similarly for product B, that the count is 2. For product B, the count greater than 150. So 150 does not count. 180 and 210. So again that's correct. And for C it is just one time. So 300, yes 300. So that's why it is reflecting 1. So I'm sure that you must have understood the iterative functions. So before we stop the session, one last thing, that do not just watch these videos. I'm sharing the dataset in the description for the video. So please access those datasets and ensure that you practice all these functions. If you practice, then only you will learn these functions. Okay. Thank you so much for watching.